All right, PKN episode 146. There it is live. Um, you know what? I did the I've got two things on my mind: the fact check and the Fox News
Things on
third
my
place thing. I did some fact checking on what Taylor said. He was right and wrong.
I actually saw that too. I was like,
did
oh,
you?
we were both right and wrong.
Yeah. So while it's true that CNN and MSNBC have been doing really well in the ratings and that they've been going up a whole bunch, the articles I read disappointed me, and that they conveniently, I feel, left out that a lot of Fox News's biggest draws were at a funeral for Roger Ailes, the sexual harassment dude and owner of the company. So,
Tucker Carlson wasn't there.
Tucker probably was, and whoever else, I don't even know, with Meg.
Yeah, whoever the gang consists of.
Well,
yeah.
Van Sustren's gone now, right? Isn't she got some kind of a sexual thing going on? Like Greta Van Susteren, who I liked a lot. Is she still with the network?
I read about that. I don't know.
No,
if
she's
gone.
not with Fox.
I think she's got a sexual harassment thing going as well against. I think against O'Reilly.
I can only imagine what kind of environment was going on there between O'Reilly and Ailes.
I imagine O'Reilly as Michael Scott. Like he walks in and he's got his fingers stuck through the crotch of his jeans. He's like, ah! He's like, just fucking with you. But really though, I'll pull it out, baby. It's a lot bigger than that.
O'Reilly had the tapes too, where he is talking dirty and such. He apparently was a sexual guy. And look, I'm all for O'Reilly fucking whoever he wants to fuck, but apparently he used his position of power in the workplace, and they paid out. What was it,
what I think it was though? I don't think that he was necessarily abusing his position of power. I think maybe he's working so hard, putting in so many hours in that building. He's like, well, where else am I going to find women? I'm here and I'm at home, and there's no pussy at home. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Well, what he's thinking is, he's like, all right, I can go out to what O'Reilly's thinking is I can go out to a bar, I can scout out women, they'll know who I am because I'm Bill O'Reilly, or I can continue to hang out at the news station that hires all the hottest women in the city and brings them here. And he's like, I'm kind of living in a magnet right now, and so I'll just continue to hang out in my magnet.
I bet he's gotten so much ass over the years. He's like Walter Frey, like you always say, Woody. He's like, you know how much pussy I got?
Yeah.
They want 13 million.
Nobody is as Walter Frey as
Bill Cosby. 1 year of speaking tours.
But yeah, and it's now he's what, embarrassed or what? No, he's just gonna be like, yeah, I got the money, I got the pussy.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't retire on my own terms, but how many of us do?
And even then, he's not gonna retire because, fortunately, quote, for him, that this happened in 2017 and not 1997. Because he could just start a podcast and it's like, oh, where are we going to find an audience? Oh, right, those millions and millions of people who are waiting to see where I go. And so it's it's even like saying, all right, Mr. Millionaire, you get to take a bunch of freedom and play it up however you want.
Right? Doing it live with Bill O'Reilly.
He'd
own the goddamn internet. Someone tweet that to him right now. He'll do it immediately. Doing it live with Bill O'Reilly. And doing it live is all caps, exclamation, doing it live with Bill O'Reilly.
It's probably not live if it's a podcast, but still a good name. I'd take it anyway. But a million people would say that.
Part of the catch, right?
Yeah,
you got to get into that.
Suddenly, Twitch is going to open up a new political commentary chapter just for him.
Or he starts his own
or it'll be called Killing My Career, because all of his books are killing Reagan or killing Lincoln or killing the Red Menace or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if those other news things start
killing
to
the penis,
the
feminization of the modern American man. That'll be his next.
Dude, I honestly do wonder what the environment at Fox was like. Between, it seems like O'Reilly and Ailes, and I just have to assume if there's two, there might be 3 or 4. I don't know. I made that up, but are they just slaying pussy over there all the time?
I like to think so.
I mean, it's more fun to imagine that.
I hope that by 2019 those hot blonde newscasters are just sitting on a big leather couch and all the pretenses are dropped and they're coming to you live from the Fox News casting couch.
Yeah, there's no longer even the pretext of political discussion. It's now just with taking way too long to close their legs, shit like that.
Yeah.
Howard Stern gave him shit for the longest time. Because he talks about what he watches a lot, and he watches The Bachelor, but he but as far as news, he's like, oh, Fox News. I watch Fox News. Of course I watch Fox News. They've got beautiful women there constantly. He's like, have you seen the new blonde? And they start talking about this lady. And they start looking up her credentials to try to see, like, what is she? Pilates and a kickboxing instructor. That's what it was. It was like kickboxing. That was what she did right before this. She had been like
is it true? I just have to wonder. Are they not being selective, right? Like remember when they said Obama was a community organizer and he was actually like a U.S. senator, right? But they acted like he went from. Was she like a kickboxer instructor, but from Harvard Law School?
They were giving her a lot of shit because they all have like broadcasting degrees and stuff and like backgrounds in that, and I think they expect that among like fellow media members, journalists, and the like. And they were really dogging her because she didn't seem to have any real credentials. Of course, that was a show from a year ago. Maybe I'm wrong, but they were really hammering it home that she didn't have any credentials, that she was a kickboxing instructor, and her main draw was her legs. That's what it was all about.
I've seen that dogging of Fox News personalities in particular is not having like journalism degrees and such, but I don't agree with it. Like I feel like this is a topic where you talk about the news and entertain people, and lots of people can do this. You know, a lot of like Megyn Kelly, wasn't she like summa cum laude from an Ivy League school or from her law school or something? Like
I think so. I think she's very intelligent.
Yeah, she's real smart.
Right, but no journalism degree, so suddenly she can't talk on the thing. No, dude.
Well, she's an opinion.
I'm all about Woody's position here. It makes a lot of sense to me because the last thing you want is like some weird barrier to entry on who can really be considered a journalist, you know? Because a journalist is just whoever's currently performing journalism. Because we live in a free country, we can all be journalists whenever we want.
So the way I look at it,
but it's dangerous, Kyle, to say that's not news because it doesn't come from this stamped journalism guy.
I think it's dangerous not to, the same way it's dangerous to take legal advice from a non-lawyer or a medical advice from a non-doctor. It's not gatekeeping to say, no, we want you to be qualified before you start informing the people on. I don't think it is, because I think there's, you always talk about journalistic integrity, right? Like that is a thing. These guys go to jail sometimes to protect their sources. There's a big difference between that and just some guy who's got a bunch of like listeners or viewers. I think there's an equivalency there that you can draw, because journalistic integrity is a thing. And a lot of the people that we get our news from aren't journalists. They're opinion makers or just commentators.
Comedians. But what you've done, if you establish that, then all that you say is that, okay, it's not actual news unless it comes from this nice panel of pre-approved people, and everything that's a lesser known source, they're not as reliable. And that's valid. Like if it is a lesser known source, you do need to put more scrutiny. But to outright say, bah, ridiculous, this didn't filter through that very closed and guarded gate of professional journalism, therefore it's not valid. Like that's a risky thing to do.
It's hard to argue against that, because our generation of journalists don't seem to have all that much integrity, and so many of them are the opinion makers now. It seemed like when I was a kid, you had Tom Brokaw, and you could just believe what fucking Tom Brokaw said because he wasn't going to mislead you. Or I would never tell a lie. And way before him, you had Walter Cronkite and those guys. Like you could believe Walter Cronkite, and if he said it, like it was fucking real. He was gonna shoot you straight. There wasn't gonna be some opinion piece mixed in and like put beneath two layers of real news to confuse you. Now maybe that's not so true. So while I wish we had a return to that, people we could trust who didn't really have a dog in the fight.
The challenge
that would be ideal.
Voters are choosing their news, and politicians are choosing their voters, and the whole system is fucked. Let's talk fitness. I'm currently down 10 pounds. It feels like a huge win, but I've been down 10 pounds since Friday, so I was hoping I'd be 11 by now. I've got a cool landmark coming. Like so if I get down 11 pounds, my weight starts with 20. It'll be 209, and I look forward to that. If it's 12 pounds, then that turns out to be the weight of 2 gallons of gas, which is like a thing for me because I fly all the time.
Oh yeah, that actually makes. I was like, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, like the weight of my paramotor, like that whole setup. And then if I'm down,
does gasoline weigh different than water?
It does, which surprised me. I had said 8 pounds on the show before, and everyone's like, no, it's 6.
Less dense. Okay.
Yeah. So I knew it was less dense, and I guess you did too. Yeah. But I thought it was going to be like 8.1 versus 8.0 or something. I had no idea how significant it was.
I had never considered it. I always thought liquid was 8 pounds, but never really thought about density before then.
I knew that salt water was heavier than fresh water.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
But anyway, they're both in the 8s, I think. And then the last one for me is 15 pounds. That'll be my halfway point. But I'm at 10. And
that's good.
Yeah.
Towards your head.
Oh, and the check-ins have helped me, and this is why. So yesterday I was going to skip my kettlebell workouts. I wanted to. My wife had found antique furniture, and I spent from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. doing antique furniture related activities, hooking up a trailer to the truck, hooking up a trailer to the other truck because the electrical hookup wasn't right, carrying antiques onto a trailer, carrying the antiques into the house, up the stairs, whatever. I didn't finish like packing the trailer away till 3 p.m. And I was like, oh my God, I've done plenty of weightlifting today. I moved like 3 giant pieces of furniture, but I had a check-in and I didn't want to have to explain it. So I whipped out the kettlebell and did my routine. So there it is.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Muscle it out.
Yep.
How about you, Kyle? Where you at?
I have been having a good time. I've cut my diet down to a much more healthy level. Cut out all the awful things that I've been cramming into myself, and we're on a cleanse right now. We're going to try to get all the evil out, start trimming the fat off, and start doing a lot of reps, a lot of cardio, and cut this 5 or 8 pounds of fat off, and then see what it'll look like then. I don't know. It's fun. We're just having a little science experiment over here with my body. It's not that I necessarily, I'm not like, I really need to lose 8 pounds or I really need to gain 10 pounds. It's more like, I wonder what this will do. So we're doing that now.
Well, he did 4 weeks of 4,000 calories a day in shakes primarily,
like
lots
shit.
of milk. Then he spent 2 weeks eating nothing. No, it wasn't a typo. Nothing.
Kitty was like, don't get the whole gallons of milk. Get 2 half gallons. I can't lift them. And I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna go through that gallon like in like 2 days. Don't worry. Like,
I've never heard that before. Get 2 half gallons. I can't lift them.
yeah. She needed a 4. She uses 4 pounders, not 8 pounders. So. But yeah, I was like, I'm gonna go through that gallon of milk in a day. You're not gonna have to
I ate
that.
like an asshole this weekend, just badly. Like I've been doing good for the most part with eating and been doing better with working out than with eating. But this past weekend, because it was Memorial Day and there were so many activities and shit, I ate quite a few hot dogs and burgers and drank beer, which is like a good way to keep your beer intake less is what I do now, and I keep it in calories. Every one I have, I'm like, this is like you're drinking a sandwich. You are drinking a sandwich right now. You may not feel like it, and this sandwich may tell you, what would go great with this sandwich is yet another sandwich.
Do you ever drink like the super light beers, like a 64-calorie beer?
I've had the Miller 64, and it tastes like really flat, shitty, awful beer. So it wasn't like I was drinking like that bad for you, like stout, super heavy beer. It was just Bud Light, but that with burgers and brats and dogs. So I'm back on the straight and narrow now because I don't know. This is how it gets out of control. Is one long weekend and then it becomes Tuesday. And I was thinking today, I'm like, you know what, Taylor, what would be really good on the way home is if you got a burrito from Qdoba. And as I was driving, I was like, thankfully I had to make it home in time for us to do our early start. And I was like, you know what? No. Because this is how you get fat again. Rationalizing a 1,200 calorie burrito because I knew when I walked in, if I have in my head, you're getting a burrito bowl, I will get a burrito bowl. And because I'm already halfway there on the health, I'll go no to the cheese, no to the queso, just give me lots of vegetables and meat and I'll eat that. But I had it in my head, I was going to get a burrito. In for a penny, in for a pound, my brain says when I'm in there. If I'm getting that fucking tortilla, then I'm going to get cheese on it. If I'm getting cheese on it, I'm going to get queso. And it was like, okay, no. I got to be fucking careful here because if I do this on a Tuesday, tomorrow's Wednesday, and then I'm halfway through the week, and I'll just say, well, it's already shot. I'll have to pick this up again later. Like it's creepy when you can see those thoughts coming in.
Slope going on there.
Oh, yes, very slippery. Like once you once you step off the slope and you slide a little, it can get game over real quick. You can be like, well, I mean, it is fried chicken is a lot of protein in there, right? So maybe I just won't have the French fries. I'll just eat 8 fried chicken fingers. And I got to wash that down with a tea, but I'll get the small.
I had
a small trip up, sweet tea.
Kind of. So what I am doing it, I think, at 1 cheat meal a week. I had saved my cheat meal all week long for Friday night where I was camping, and there's less like options to eat and stuff where, everyone brings a thing. Anyway, I had wanted these potato chips for ages. All week long, I've been thinking about these potato chips, how much I'd like to have. They were Cape Cod with salt and vinegar.
They're really like kettle corn, like kettle style, like really crunchy.
Yeah, a little crunchier, and they tend to not be in the right shape a lot. They're my favorite kind of potato chip, and favorite brand of favorite kind of potato chip, and like all day long I'm hungry. You know I have no food for tomorrow, like the whole thing. And I got a plate of potato chips, and everyone was making fun of me for how many potato chips I was eating. But I was like, all right, look, a plate of potato chips is a lot of potato chips. But it was one chip thick.
One layer.
Yeah. It was not like I had a heaping plate of potato chips and I like poured the bag on a plate and tried not to have them spill over the side. No, they were just one chip thick. You know, I would argue that oftentimes when like you get chips as a side, if you were to take all the other dishes off and spread them out, you'd about cover the plate.
Yeah.
And that's what I had. But
do you ever do that thing? I've done it before where like I'll even try and lie to myself. Like I'll make myself a sandwich and get Cheez-Its or Goldfish to pour on the plate. And like as I'm mid-pour, I'll be like, "What? Did someone call me? Oh no!
What happened here?"
Well, everybody, don't worry. I'm not an animal. I'm not gonna put my hands in these and put them back in the box. What's done is done. Tomorrow's a new day. You know, like
you can throw those away. Yeah, I'll take them. No.
I wouldn't want
it's on
you
my
to take
plate,
them. They've been exposed to air.
I already ate the extras anyway.
Yes, I already ate the extras.
You know what I have done? Not that. That actually is not one of my flaws. But I will do this, in cereal especially. Be like, all right, let's have a bowl of cereal. Well, look how much is left. I'm not sure that's even a whole bowl's worth.
Yeah.
So I'll just pour all of it in here into this heaping bowl with hardly any room for milk and have all this delicious cereal in a super
I did that with steak last week where I had a bunch of beef tenderloins that were like 4 ounces and I made 3 of them and it was like, you know, so that's 12 ounces and I was eating them. And I like went back for a snack later and I saw 2 more that added up to 8 ounces. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to have a whole meal of an 8-ounce steak tomorrow. I'll just make these right now, add it on top of the steak I just ate. And then, 20 ounces of steak is the meal. And as I was eating like the last bite of that steak, I'm like, man, that didn't make any goddamn sense at all. like that was plenty of steak I could have eaten it the next day. And it was like, man, that's a good mind power that I kept myself fooled until I was chewing the last bite. It's like, I've been rused by myself.
You tricked you. I've been pretty disciplined on the diet. With the exception of my one cheat meal a week. I think the wind's bad, and I'm going to go to Thai this week. But and I'm down 10 pounds. The thing about needing to lose 30 is that when you lose 10, you're not like, check this out, ladies.
You got to keep in mind.
You only need to lose 20 now.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget that, like, all right, so you were, what was your starting weight?
220.
All right, so like, if you go from 220 down to 210, that's a very different Woody than if you had just stopped on your way up at 210. Do you follow?
No. Well, why wouldn't they be the same Woody?
Because you have the fitness now. You are a fit 210. You have went down. It's different going down to 210 than it is going up to 210.
I hadn't thought of that.
The you that sits at that 210 is a completely different individual on the inside.
I will say this.
The one that goes up and hits 210 as the one who goes down and hits 210.
The 210 I see shirtless in a mirror. He's kind of a fat fuck. And I'm getting a pool. So these things are buzzing in my head. What if we vlog?
Paparazzi's going to be out there snapping those pool pics.
So, Anyway, I 205 will be halfway, and that'll be an exciting thing. I was hoping today I'd be down 11, but I wasn't.
199 is going to be the real winner number because that's like the anchor point that if you do like tick back up to 201, it won't be like going from 204 to 206. It'll be like, oh, fuck, damn it. Like I was a better man and now I've lost it. At least that's how I am with those. When you finally get that 1 out in front, you're like, I'm not a starting 2-digit kind of guy anymore. I don't know about you. Maybe you're the kind of person that lets themselves go. Not this guy. Maybe I go from fat to so overly confident, like in like a 6-pound range between like 196 and 190.
Have you seen that thing on social media where like this somewhat chubby girl is saying something like when his height starts with the number 5 and she's making a face like like she'd never date a guy who's 5 foot anything, and then someone replies immediately, when her weight starts with 2.
Yeah.
It's true.
And it's got like 30,000 retweets or something.
And only one of those is genuinely kind of shitty. Because you can't like work out and be like, by this time next summer I'm gonna be 6'8". You watch, like, no, you can't do that. Like, but if you're 230 pounds and like other than that you're pretty normal, like you're just lazing around in your own filth. Like you can get that fixed or whatever. I'm assuming how heavy this woman was. 230 in my head is very heavy woman weight.
Yeah, it's a big lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing the kettlebells and I have 2 motivations. 1, I like the way Taylor's shirts fit, full homo. 2, I don't want people to be saying that I'm just losing muscle. Like that is I'm eating so right, and I don't want them to be like, oh, he lost 10 pounds, but it's something that, fuck you. That's why I'm, lifting this goddamn kettlebell for no other apparent reason. Put it back right where I found it. But, I need to add that in so that now this week I'm doing it. I did it twice the first week because I'm old and you start slower than that.
Yeah.
Those are just the rules we work with. This week I'm doing it 3 times, and then next week I'll make a decision to either increase weight or reps because I'm already suffering less from my workouts now than I was last week.
That's good.
Yeah.
Shows you're progressing.
Yeah.
About our recent guest on the PKA, Kyle especially will get a kick out of this, but I know you will too, Woody, is I was listening to the newest Dick show today because it comes out on Tuesdays, and I was listening to it on the way home, and he was talking about, he's like, this guy Murka asked me on Twitter to come on his podcast, and so I just like clicked on his link, and and he was like, and I saw a podcast he was doing with him and some girl, and I'm like, all right, whatever, and I closed out of it, and I thought I was ready for PKA, and then I showed up, and it was a totally different group of guys than what I was anticipating. And so what do you do in that situation? Well, what I do is I start drinking. And so he was like, and so I started drinking, and he's like, oh, and they caught me, and I got caught in the most embarrassing lie halfway through. And he starts asking his audio engineer, he's like, Sean, do you remember FPS Russia, the guy with the Russian accent who shoots guns, and he's on YouTube, and we used to get hammered and watch the videos all the time on whole Saturdays? And he's like, yeah, I do remember that guy. He goes, I did not realize that I was doing the show with FPS Russia. I thought that he was a Russian man. And so when Murka or whatever in the middle of the show said, you realize that you're talking to FPS Russia right now, I just sat there kind of drunk and said, yeah. And he was like, fuck, no, I can't go back on it ever. I can't go back. No, I lied. And he was all concerned about how he ruined the show by getting too drunk. And it was just really fucking funny that he had no idea.
Yeah, I remember that moment. Yeah, that was hilarious. You were like, that's him, right? And he's like, yeah, I know that. Yeah, yes. I know.
I think I like that show. I wish I had slapped the top 10% label on it. I had used that in months.
Yeah,
you months.
Really had. That would have been the next one will be top 10 too.
I swear it's every 15 episodes. I might call one top 10%. Every 25. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's about right?
It should be every 10.
Should be every 10. A little bit more now.
I got some backlog. We might use top 10% for the next 3 weeks.
It doesn't even matter if it's a good one.
Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't. We'll end it after 90 minutes in an argument. It's great.
But I thought that was really funny. I thought he was an incredible guest.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I think it was a win. Like, I know I went to his subreddit, and some of his fans were like, hey, this is working. I'm going to check out PKA. And I know it was to work the other way, too, that there are a handful of people who watch his podcast.
Oh, definitely.
Hundreds of people. Thousands, I don't know. But people will check him out because he did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a thing. Did you guys see that art sale?
No. Art sale. I did not.
Yes. Well, I'm surprised you don't follow the high-priced art scene.
I'm not up to date. I need to bone up on my high-priced class in art.
Here, I'll show you the painting. Painting's not my cup of tea. Let's see. That black skull type thing. I know a lot of people watch this on audio. So it's abstract art. It looks like it was drawn, it was painted, but it almost looks like it was done with a marker or something because it's mostly lines. And the lines come together to vaguely resemble a black skull and with bad teeth. And it went for, it's a new record, $110 million. And one of the reasons it caught my attention, you don't think it's good? I don't like it. Yeah. I don't understand. Like, let's circle back to the art in a second. The second place high bidder, if there's such a thing, was the guys who sold the UFC, like one of the Fertitta brothers, I think. So that's how it ran across me, because I follow the UFC.
I like frittata because it sounds more delicious.
But
Frittata brothers.
Yeah, so this artist who made it is dead. I'm not an art guy, but I do know that helps the value of their art. And yeah, this thing, like, look, there's a lot of detail in this piece. Like, you could have made a skull with just, like, a black skull to me only needs one color, but he's got a ton there. I don't know what's going on with those teeth, and apparently they're playing tic-tac-toe above his head, maybe?
Yeah, there's just tic-tac-toe in the back. Like, this is... I don't know shit about art, and so someone can definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, my feeling I always get from this modern art shit is that it's people who want to be artists, but they look at traditional, very, very good, very principled, very much following rules and disciplines to get, like, these beautiful watercoloring, paintings or whatever, and they go, well... I can't compete at all in that arena. I can't go into the real arena of realistic painting and drawing and compete. I'll get blown out of the water. I don't have the skill for it. So I have to kind of make my own art here and pretend that it's just as deep in its own right, even though anyone can look at it and say, well, that doesn't really require the same level of mastery, because anyone can look at a painting of a lake, and if there's someone there with two arms or a fucked up distortion, they're going to go, aha, mistake,
Actually,
I see it. But here they don't.
2 arms is appropriate.
If they have two, yes. If they have 2 arms where one is like all fucky or something, you'll look at it and you'll go, that's weird. But this one, this guy, he goes, well, this nose is totally fucked, but it doesn't matter. There's no standard by which I can be compared to and judged. Therefore, it's brilliant by default.
I think the problem is that none of us really have any appreciation at all for art. I mean, you look at Picasso's expressionism, like all those weird, like, faces mushed together and stuff. Like, the goal isn't to be a photograph, because the camera already, like, got that down.
Is
like,
there a weird kind of group thing,
this isn't worth $110 million to me. But I know I couldn't create anything that looked as nice. I'd pay $100 for that and stick it on my wall.
Okay.
But no more. No more.
More. Abstract art, right? The cliche is that it's something everyone says they can do, but nobody does, right? That's like the thing about abstract art. And sometimes I've thought, like, I should just put paint the background, put like 4 different colored squares on it and say, yeah, I made that myself. And everyone will be like, I could do that. I was like, yeah, so can I. And like, just have a thing. But I wonder, like, when it comes to art like this, which I just find very difficult to appreciate, is it possible that somehow, like, it's prestigious to think this is good, and that all people who enjoy art just start agreeing, like, oh yeah, I don't like that picture that actually looks like something is nice. I like this picture over here that looks like the guy was cleaning his brushes on. That speaks to me. Did you impress your friends by liking this?
That might be some of it, but I mean, there's someone who spent $110 million on it for some reason.
To impress his friends.
He could have done a better job than that, right? Like,
He's in the news.
Here,
this is USA.
I just linked you guys to something. I don't know how good it's going to be, but it'll only take a couple seconds. We should run through it. It's a Sporkle quiz. It's called, can you tell us if this painting is the work of a famous modern artist or a small child?
This is fantastic. All right, let's put it on the big screen.
All right, so on the first one, I'm trying to figure out if we're all looking at the same thing. Is the one that's like some splatters on the canvas, yellow,
almost looks
red.
like a red blood drop.
Yeah, red and yellow. We're all on the same one.
Red, yellow,
do you think this is modern art, or do you think it's done by a child?
I'm going to say that this was done by a child.
I'm going to say modern art.
I take it back.
We should
modern
vote.
art.
Oh. I guess if I hit M, it votes. All right, so I think modern art was right.
Yeah,
it was, because I tried to write toddler.
All right, so this one, toddler? I actually think it's modern art.
Well, this one, it's just smushed around shit.
But
so it doesn't even have like the same
Are you guys looking at the blue thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the blue
I think
thing.
if it were a toddler, it would have more white space.
I'm going to say it's also modern art.
All right, 2-1 modern art. It is modern art.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, but this one. I think it's
this
modern
one's
art
just
again.
shit. It's just swatches.
I think this might be a toddler because I see the distinct like finger painting strokes on it.
And the very small fingers.
I'm saying this is modern art.
I'm gonna say toddler on this.
All right, I'm gonna go with toddler because it was 2-1. Correct.
It was a toddler.
Toddler?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now this mostly red one. I'm gonna go toddler because of the white space.
It certainly
gonna
doesn't
go
look
modern
difficult
art.
to do.
So Taylor, break the tie.
Another toddler. Yep.
We're right. We've gotten everyone so far.
It's got to be modern art.
I'm going with toddler. Toddler on this one. I feel like I've identified the finger painting aspect of this one. I'm going toddler.
I'm looking at brush strokes every time. Like I'm looking for something that looks like an adult brush stroke that wasn't just like I'm looking for something that looks like someone did something intentional.
I'm saying. I'm gonna
That's
say
modern art.
This looks like a toddler did it, so I'm gonna say toddler.
It looks like the horizon of the ocean, right?
It was modern art. Toddler on this one.
Oh, this one's got to be a toddler.
I'm saying modern art.
It was toddler.
But see,
Kyle is terrible at this game.
I guess so.
I'm going modern art.
Children don't pick colors this ugly to paint with a lot of the time, so I'm going to say modern art because he's trying to be ironic.
We're all right.
There we go.
Modern art. I like this one, actually. All right. So Kyle
I'm going to say toddler.
Ooh.
I'm going to say toddler as well.
Oh, all right. So I thought it was modern art, but it was 2-1 against me. It was toddler.
Now, this one that we're looking at here is the crux of modern art or toddler because it looks horrible. But if you saw this hung up somewhere and they said it sold for $1 million, you'd say, yeah, suckers born every
day. You know why
I
think
think
it's toddler?
If they told you that this was like the Armenian genocide, you'd stare at it for 20 minutes like, yeah, I guess I see it.
I think the way this was made was by taking a brush and smushing it so that the hairs on it flared out and got messed up. I'm going toddler.
I'm gonna say.
Please go toddler.
I'm going art. I'm going art.
All right, Taylor, break the tie.
I would answer, but I'm already familiar with this piece. This is called Post Nap Time Troubles, and it's actually both. Yeah, a toddler and the modern artist.
It's a toddler's modern art.
I'm going to say toddler.
It was modern art. It was modern art.
Oh my God!
So sure, that was a paper squished. Toddler.
I think I'm only behind by one now.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, this one is definitely.
Are we looking at the blue one?
Yeah.
I'm going to say the blue one's modern art.
I'm going toddler.
I'm going to go modern art on this one.
I was right.
It was a toddler again.
Yeah.
Man, these are indifferentiable.
Get that toddler on the phone. I want to buy that piece.
All right, well, there's 20 of these, so we need to roll.
Jesus.
Or not do all 20.
Yeah, or not quite do all 20. The last one I think is toddler.
Oh, wait, there's a timer on it, so. All right, I'm going to go toddler too, so. And we were right, and the timer should expire. 3, 2, 1.
This last one just says Hector. It's got like.
All right.
Oh, that was art. Yeah.
No. The point is that it's not art. It just looks like a toddler scribbled it around on there. You know,
well,
like if you went to any other form of art, like if you went to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant, right, and you go and take a sit down. And he goes, all right, I'm going to bring out something for you. It's going to be made by me, Gordon Ramsay, one of the most famous chefs to ever live, or it's going to be cobbled together by a child in the back. And it's like, all right, what do you think this plate is? Well, there's a clear filet mignon that's been butterflied. There's my sautéed green beans next to it. I think an adult made this. What's this? Well, it's a cup full of dirt and a little bit of kitty litter on the bottom. It has been dropped. Is it something more talking about the state of the food industry?
She calls it a mud muffin.
Yeah, she calls it a mud.
The chef calls it a mud muffin.
I think we got 8 right and 3 wrong. That was our score. I feel like we could tell the difference. I think going on your cooking thing, if it was like, hey, was this Gordon Ramsay or a child, I would get all of them right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I would too.
Unless the child could cook well.
That's unlikely.
Even then it would like.
No, I think I could tell just by the screams from the kitchen which one it was. One guy drops F-bombs and the other screams for mommy.
Terrible at deep frying. Did you see that shit? God damn.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely awful.
Dead.
How are you expecting to introduce food to this lemonade stand when you can't make a single entree for the customer? I just try to do for fun with my mom and my dad, and we become my sister. You're not taking this any seriously, Susan. You know. I can just picture him getting so fucking mad at those kids.
All red-faced.
Yes.
Spit.
This is a lifestyle. You know.
You have to live this. Ramsay, it's nice when you see Gordon Ramsay be like a nice, like gentle, warm guy, because it catches you off guard. You're like, okay, there's this version of you too, because you're so used to the cunt version of him that just screams at people for cooking poorly.
It seems almost random to me which meals he likes and doesn't, right? I have seen meals delivered to him that looked fantastic, and he'll be like, this is chewy, you don't make your own pasta, garbage, garbage, garbage. And then I've seen, like, home-style, is this racist to say? Like an Aunt Jemima style?
That's very racist, yes.
Is it? I'm trying to paint a picture. Okay, black woman with an apron and a do-rag. Okay, like, yeah, all right, thank you, that'll work. I don't mean to be racist.
Some nigger food.
No, just trying to paint a picture. I don't know what to say. But yeah, like a female soul food chef deliver what looks to the eye to be a plate full of slop. And he'll be like, this is perfect. Nailed it, you know? Your only problem in this restaurant is marketing or something like that. Yeah. And I think, man, like, the only thing I thought...
It's a good thing we taste food and we don't look at it, because you'd never know.
But don't you? Yeah. Don't you a little? Like...
Sometimes you don't. Like there's a lot of, like, stews and, like, stuff that come out of the slow cooker that look pretty gross, but they're just delicious.
Qdoba has I don't know, a gumbo. I get gumbo there. Oh, I know. So, look, I haven't had it in months. This burned into my head, and I don't know why I let this... It's weird, the things that can hurt your feelings. But... Guy said, I didn't take my diet seriously because he had seen the desserts that Jackie brought me. And, you know, clearly I'm bad for that. And it's like, no, stop. Those are the desserts that got me here. They're not the desserts that help. I haven't had any desserts since I'm trying to lose weight. That's what caused the problem in the first place. And somehow that ties into the Gordon Ramsay thing, and I've lost my train of thought. Damn it, I'm so sorry.
About the food not looking good, but being good, or not?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it something about black people?
It was the collard greens, wasn't it? You were going to get a whole tirade.
That is a food that is grievously underrated. Collard greens are real good, and the way they look is not good at all. So that's a pretty good point.
I was going to say, I wanted to talk about Qdobas without people thinking I was currently eating there. But yeah, the gumbo is outstanding.
I love gumbo. I was on the Gulf Coast down there where they had the oil spill in Louisiana, and we stopped at this like seaside restaurant. There was like a really big, nice place. Oh, that gumbo was so goddamn good. That was the best. I guess I was really hungry that day because it's imprinted in my brain forever how good that gumbo was. Yeah. And also because you could look out the window and there were black people on the beach.
On the beach?
The whole beach was black people. And look, they weren't out there in like jeans and shit like normally. They had board shorts on.
Normally.
They had, I swear to God, there were black guys playing volleyball. I saw.
Did they know they were black?
I seen it.
Because they might not have.
They were even playing the right way. Like they knew how to play volleyball. It was shocking. The whole beach was populated by black people.
I was talking to a black guy on the beach. Now, at the time, I was a total beach rat. I spent all my days at the beach. I worked on the beach. Beach was my thing. And this black guy comes out. He rented an umbrella from me. And he's like, yeah, I'm just taking my kids to the beach because they were curious about it. I wanted to prove to them that there's nothing fun here. And I was like, it's not working, is it? You know, like the beach is the greatest. But yeah, there was a real disconnect there. His whole point of going to the beach was to prove how bad it was.
When it comes to the beach, I'm very much a black man on the inside. I despise all that it is.
Woody probably loved it as a lifeguard who liked being active. You know, you see a lot of black people coming on. Maybe it'll be a more difficult day at work. Maybe some more do Asian people drown?
Oh my God, they're the best customers ever. there's a real high chance that you'll get to pluck one out of the water.
This is something I want to ask you. What weird stereotypes, if any, did you notice doing that about who tends to drown who handles drowning the best and the worst. Not that like anybody's like 5 stars at drowning.
So you know what? I said Asian people, and there is some truth to that. But really, the clothes made the man. Like if someone's out there swimming with a t-shirt on, or better yet, if they bring their sunglasses into the water, then I know these are not watermen, right? Like real water people. Yeah, watermen is a surfing term that they use to mean I do more than just surf. I also paddleboard and kayak and whatever. Waterman. And if a guy's wearing sunglasses over the water, this guy's not a fucking waterman. He's more likely to be we called him a customer, but a victim.
Yeah.
And so that was a good tell. The clothing somewhat. Asian guys who weren't Americans were often like terrible. I don't know why, but like if they were actually like if they had accents and they were from something that not American, then they were great customers. Yeah, that about gives it up.
Meaning the less American the Asian individual, the more likely they are to have trouble swimming.
Yes. If it's an American Asian, they're just like white guys really. Like they swim and they do regular stuff and
back home, they use pool to execute.
yeah.
Political prisoner. Every time I go on the Asian servers on PlayerUnknown, like those guys are serious. They're screaming at me, and I don't know what language. There's. I leave my mic open, and I'm speaking English, of course, and they hate that for some reason. And we start screaming each other, him and I don't know what, and me in English, and it's a lot of fun. I've really been digging the PlayerUnknowns. I've been playing with a lot of fans. A lot of our fans are actually like really, really good at the game. I found a guy who's like a Counter-Strike pro, and we've been winning a lot. We've been playing squads and winning several times a night.
That guy from the Hangouts said that he was good.
Mate,
he's from California and has guns.
Yeah. Is it the big guy who's like red? It looks like he's in a garage and his parents are very rich.
Yeah, he has a big beard.
He's
young with a big beard. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he was very good. I didn't want to give him any shit, but he was like, "Oh, I'll kill anybody just because I know how people think." And I'm just like, "Nah, that's not how it works. That's not how it works."
Don't you think it is a little like I feel like so if it was Call of Duty, you'd have like basically stay out of the field. That's where the baby buffalo roam. You'd like set up positions of advantage. To go the long way around the map because you cut across the center and everyone's aiming at you. That kind of like take that, add more complexity to it, and maybe he's good at it. No.
Oh yeah, there's lots of. I mean, there's definitely tons of mind games in there. Like it certainly happens because I'm in this building, you're in that building, and I can hear your footsteps. You can hear mine unless we crouch aim walk, which moves you at like 0.1 normal speed. So like there's a lot of mind games that go on, but that's not gonna like get you a win. There's plenty of times when I outthink the guy, but he just outshoots me because he's just so much better at shooting games, or he just outshoots me, or his connection's better, or whatever. But like with that game, you can play any style. There's a guy. There might be a player in there who gets 20 kills in a game. There's 100 people dropped in. He's got 20 kills. He's got the best of everything, but I might still beat him just because I play kind of a pacifist role, and like I don't take every gunfight I see because I'm trying to be quiet and stealthy, and I just sneak around because every few minutes that poisonous gas encroaches and makes us play in a smaller and smaller play area, and it's very easy to get stuck outside that play area and just die. And as far as running across open fields, that's a big no-no in this game. Because if you're out there 400 yards in a field, it's a long run to get to cover, and someone's just shooting at you all day, and they just kill you. But the circle forces you into those shitty scenarios. So end game, you're laying in a wheat field, just 18 feet away from another guy, laying in a wheat field, and everybody's crawling, just terrified. My heart pounds so much in this game that I wish I had a heart rate monitor because it's more like I have to really get cardio going before I can like hear my heart in my ears. But regularly in this game, it's doom 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 doom, and my teammates are the same way. I think it's just a product of the game. Like they'll be like, "Oh God, my heart's racing. My heart's racing."
I wish you could live stream. This sounds like I'd watch your live stream.
It's a lot of fun. I've gotten better at the game. I'm certainly not good at it, I guess, amongst all the players who play it because they play PC shooters. But I can hold my own, and I don't get embarrassed anymore.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
Yeah, I wish I could stream too. That'd be fun.
That's it.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to talk about something else.
I'll just wrap it up. Like that is, to me, one of the biggest downsides of living in a rural area. Like we live at a time in America where it's like, oh yeah, electricity just doesn't make it out to my house, right? Electricity makes it everywhere, but quality internet doesn't.
Nope.
So, Taylor, you had a thing?
Yeah, it doesn't just have to relate to hockey; it has to relate to sports as well and fan involvement. So, throwing stuff on the ice is something that just happens in hockey games. In Detroit, they throw dead octopuses on the ice or dead squids on the ice. And for Nashville, they throw catfish on the ice. Obviously dead. You're not smuggling a live catfish in. And game one
Philly,
between
you just throw whatever they handed out as a prize on your
Philly
way.
is batteries. Yeah, they throw batteries, so it's not as fun-loving in bottles.
A bottle of Jack Daniels? How'd you
even get that in here? That's a lot of cost commitment to that throw, you know. But this guy, I guess, snuck in and heaved, like the video I saw of the way a guy snuck in a giant squid into a Detroit Red Wings game grossed me out so much because it showed the guy, apparently, this is from a while back, had a couple squids on him, you know, bring a couple.
As you do.
And so he like put squids on him and then like held his hands up and had his friend go around with just saran wrap and saran wrapped a squid, and then like as a layer on top of the other squid, they put it on and then layered another squid on there. The dude only got one squid hucked out before the picture of him in his mugshot or whatever is him holding his shirt up with the squid taped to his stomach. But he didn't get in trouble or anything. They didn't charge him or anything.
What would they charge him with?
Exactly. Last night at Game 1, Pittsburgh versus Nashville, a Nashville fan threw a giant fucking catfish out on the ice. They arrested him, apparently, and it says that after being kicked out of the arena, the fan tweeted the Midday 180 radio show in Nashville. The account later stated that he was not arrested, but was not welcome in the Pittsburgh area again. And Jacob Waddell has since been charged with disorderly conduct, disrupting a meeting, and possessing instruments of crime.
Wait, but he was from Nashville, but he went to a Pittsburgh game, right?
Correct.
Yeah, shit like that, I'm pretty sure you could just ignure. Like,
he's not welcome in Pittsburgh. But
I would go back to Pittsburgh. They're not going to get me on those squid charges.
Yeah, I'm not an attorney, but I'm pretty sure if you have like disorderly conduct and you don't plan to go back to that state again, you can just fuck off.
What are you going to do? Send a U.S. Marshal after me on squid charges?
It may be it, because I mean I don't know what just disrupting a meeting. If like, are we calling a hockey game a meeting? Not a lot's getting solved.
Yeah, I think they just found every charge they could find at catfish position.
What could we file the catfish under that's criminal? Just instruments of a crime. We'll revisit it later. You know, that's ridiculous. I think you should be able to throw dead animals at sporting events at your leisure. That's just me.
I would prefer it if it were the dead animal of the opposing team. So if I mean, just hear me out here. You're in Dallas. You're playing the Cowboys. You throw a dead fucking cowboy out on the field. Let them know.
This is making a lot of sense. Carry on, Kyle. Do you have any more examples? Dead Cardinals in St. Louis.
A whole bag.
That's what it is. It's just people from Chicago. It's just a bag of dead birds that they throw. And as you would throw a dead bag, it would really just kind of be like 6 dead birds made it more than a few yards. Other than that, it's just a pile of dead birds, right on the poor people in front of you. You know.
I'm just thinking this through. Like, if you play the Orlando Magic, do you like have like David Copperfield and effigy, and you throw him on the
when you play the Nashville Predators?
When
you play the Nashville Predators, you throw a defaced cardboard cutout of Bill Clinton on the ice.
That
or Bill Cosby. That works. Number of Bill O'Reilly. Man, Bill.
A lot of
I was going with Roger Ailes on this. I'm surprised we didn't make our way to him, but yeah, that's.
I was just going as many not pedophilic.
I was going predator. He's a sexual predator, Roger Ailes.
Yeah. I was just saying Bills because I had Bill Clinton, Bill Cosby, Bill O'Reilly.
There should be a distinction because
there should.
I feel that too many people get slapped with pedophile and too many people get slapped with sexual predator too, because there's a difference between like a 55-year-old oversexed man in a position of power who like lets you know you got nice titties or pinches your ass, and a 35-year-old man who is grooming children at the local daycare, like oh yeah, when we work out we take our shirts off, yeah Billy, yeah and we're all strong.
A different one yet, one I have even more sympathy for, is like 2 15-year-olds in the back seat of a car receiving and giving a blowjob, and suddenly like the girl's parents press charges, and it turns out it's illegal to receive a blowjob from a 15-year-old, even if you're also 15. Like that's.
Or if like a 16-year-old boy or 16-year-old girl is sexting another 16-year-old and they send like a dick pic or a twat pic or a tit pic or whatever to one another, and it's like, oh, now you've engaged in child pornography. We can't get involved in the mishmash of realizing that these are just two hormonal teenagers who want to fuck. Like, no, it's actually nefarious is what it is. It's actually pornography.
Yep,
like,
yeah.
They're selling it.
And it's hard to be pro-pedo if you're in any kind of political position, if you're a lawmaker.
Very
it's about time that someone stands up for, I don't know, kids like that. It's whatever.
It's not pro-pedo to say, hey, maybe kids sending pictures of their dicks to each other shouldn't be called pedophiles because they're still children and they're just doing stupid stuff.
Here's my thought process on there. I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah, the rules in North Carolina for engaging in sex are something like you have to be 14 and you have to have been within 4 years. Check the birthdays, right? So if I'm 18 and you're 14, but I'm really like 3.5 years older than you, we're good to go. I think that should extend to the pornography rules, right? So if I'm 19 and you're 13, it's child porn. If I'm 16 and you're 13, we're both kids.
It's just illegal. Yeah.
No. Well, okay, 13, I think I maybe went too young. But if I'm 17 and 14, then they're just all kids, and it's not a
I think we have to be – I think you just have to educate your kids on that, not you, of course. But because there's that thin line where now, like, the pedophile employs children to, like, move his kiddie porn around because they're immune from kiddie porn charges, right?
Yeah.
Like, now they become that little kid who's running the drug money around.
So they're going to use a proxy pedo.
Yeah. Well, I'm 15. I can send all the kiddie porn I want, immune from all charges. There isn't even there's laws on the books that specifically protect me as a 15-year-old who sends kiddie porn. So I'm the one in the organization who sends the files. I do that. You know, I feel like I just said some stuff I don't want recorded.
Yeah, that could be edited up real nice.
Hypothetically,
you're the next Milo. I wonder how Milo's doing. Wasn't he doing his big comeback this month? I feel like he didn't get the attention.
After his Twitter got banned, the only like point of contact I had for him is that I followed his Twitter account, and then when they got rid of that, it's not like I searched out new ways to keep tabs on him. It was like, well, I guess if he's not coming back on Twitter, that's about my extent with Milo.
To me, he kept making news. Like, that's how I sort of kept up with him, not so much on Twitter, but he was always saying something on a college campus, part of his tour. He got on Bill Maher's show. He'd be invited on whatever, Fox, ABC, etc., to talk about things. I always kept up with him because he kept making news. And then he's like, I'm coming back in May. I'm going to be making news. And I don't know if he tried or not, but I just haven't seen him.
The reason you haven't seen him is probably because nobody is. I think all of the stuff you just mentioned has stopped because of the pedophile thing. Like, he probably can't get on any shows or get any speaking engagements at a college. No one wants him to come speak at their college.
I think he's blacklisted from so many places.
That's racist.
It is not.
It's not.
He's gay listed. Yeah.
He's gay listed. No, yeah, I want to say that the press is intentionally not covering him because really what he does is just provoke people, and they don't. We should have him on the show. Maybe we could book him again.
I'm sure we could. There's no like better punishment against a provocateur than to not give them attention. Because like the best case scenario for Milo, like given that everybody understands he is a provocateur, like every time that there was a big uprising around him, he loved that. You know, like that's how his bread is buttered. Like the best, like he would love for you to be upset by what he says so much more than to go, whatever. I'm not interested.
I saw like towards the end as people were like kind of tearing him down, someone said something that really made a lot of sense to me. They're like, he describes himself as the world's most dangerous faggot, right? And they're like, he's not dangerous. He is a spider on the cushion, and it's the freaking liberals that are just scared to spider on the cushion. And it's like, if you could stop being such a pussy, then he wouldn't be dangerous at all. And like, I kind of represent Team Blue on the podcast here. But I hate that those guys are on my team.
The union?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, you guys typically take the Republican role, and I typically take the Democrat one, even though I think in reality we're all pretty lined up on the issues.
Yeah, we're not too far apart from each other.
But
that would tickle me a lot. I like that.
The union? I don't know.
No, you were like, I fight for Team Blue. I was like, the union?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's
the Confederacy was gray.
The Confederacy are fucks. I feel like history has has represented them way more positively. They did not fight for America. They fought against America, the Confederacy. They fought for slavery and in an effort to leave America so that they continue to enslave black people. And I feel like history is like, oh, you don't understand. It's states' rights. They just wanted their freedom. Dude, no, these were evil fucks trying to enslave people and break out America.
Evil happened. They were evil without calling Washington evil in the same stroke of the pen, right?
I mean, the only reason they didn't have slaves in the North is because cotton didn't grow in the North. Most of the people who owned those large plantations were Northerners.
They had slaves in the North.
The reason that they didn't have it on that scale, I mean, is that you didn't have, you couldn't grow cotton.
They had plenty of jobs for slaves.
But not, at that time, growing cotton, we weren't giant factories where we are now, post-industrial revolution.
You think slaves
they weren't
just
enormous factories.
Dude, I've got some positions for slaves around here, and I don't even have a company, really.
No.
We could all have slaves. I could have some house slaves, doing dishes.
You would definitely have some house slaves. Yeah, you'd have an Aunt Jemima. The reason that Aunt Jemima is a racist thing is because aunt was this connotation that you threw on a black woman to explain that she's your servant. She's the old aunt, who lives in your kitchen and cooks our food for us. Aunt is a derogatory term. So is uncle. You'd call a black, he ate that.
Uncle Tom.
Yeah, Uncle Tom, the whole term.
I don't know.
So Uncle Ben's rice and Aunt Jemima's syrup are.
Oh my God, Uncle Ben's is racist, isn't it? Oh,
Uncle
I didn't
Ben's
even.
rice.
I always thought. Oh.
I feel like
I just thought that was a dude
watching The Sopranos. If you keep watching The Sopranos, Meadows starts dating this guy who's half Jewish and half black. Tony calls him the Hasidic homeboy, Jamal Friedman or something like that. He keeps cracking these jokes, and he has this intense conversation with him where he's like, tell me about your people, and he explains to him that he's half black, and they get in this little argument. He's like, stay away from my daughter, etc. They leave, and then he has this panic attack when he opens the cabinet and sees the Uncle Ben's rice.
Really? I never put that together. I feel like these things should stop being racist because no one says uncle or aunt in those terms anymore. No. And we had a guest who was from Iraq, maybe, and he was talking about Allah Akbar. And he's like, oh, we're very clever. We use Allah Akbar in a lot of situations, and therefore it doesn't really have a terrorist meaning. And I say, horseshit. I'm telling you, if I don't know, intensely racist people started calling black people dude all the time, I would have to remove it from my vocabulary. I can't just say, no, dude pre-exists. No. It gets subverted. Is that the term I'm looking for?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to give a group of shitty people the power to change your vernacular, though.
They have it. They have it. It happens all the time.
But only if you allow them to have it, though. Only if you give in, if let's say dude, that's a good example. Common vernacular, everybody knows what it means. If they start saying dude to be anti-Semitic or something, and then they do the whole Pepe the Frog reverse engineering things to be racist, and then they say, hey, you can't say dude anymore. If you indulge them and say, okay, you're right, I shouldn't say dude because of this new thing that you're shoehorning into our vernacular, what you've done then is you've set a precedent that they can change language however they want as long as they can get 24 people really upset about it enough to contact whoever the hell on Twitter or Facebook. You don't want to give those people that power because they're never going to say, okay, we're good. We got all the words. We got it because they don't actually give a fuck about the people and the words. They just want to control your language.
I don't want to be the guy that leads the charge on continued ownership of dude when I know it's hurting a lot of people. I think I'm making this up, so don't go with his history, but I imagine that at one point calling someone a colored person was a way to get away from nigger, right? All right,
Negro.
Look, or Negro. I don't think black people like being called.
Yeah, it went in
stages. Right. So then I think I'm just making
they were
this
fine
up.
with Negro.
Yeah, I think that when they went to colored, that was an effort to be nice, and then that became bad. So now you don't say colored.
That's why the NAACP changed their name because it hurts their feelings so much.
They were the.
I'm kidding. They didn't change their name. They're for colored people. They didn't change their name. The National Association of the Advancement of Colored People. It's just it's a ridiculous kind of standard of where it's people pretending that they have other people's best interests in mind. But I think that it's really just semi-authoritarian assholes trying to control the way you speak and box you in with your thoughts and make it so you can't leave the little thought plantation. You got to use the words that we say are okay. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't. This word is now fucking bad too. If you were going to continue to use it, are you going to be a dog whistle for anti-Semitism? No, just fucking settle down. And then they hide behind this curtain of, but it's hurting other people. It's hurting other people. That's why this big group of white people is telling you what not to say for fear that those other people, might get wind of what you're saying. Like, no.
You remember when Michael Scott thought it was collared people?
Yes.
and Stanley was like, it's colored people, Michael. No, because oh God, what do you say? He's like, no, he's like, no, because you don't call them collared people. Yeah, that's what it was. He called them colored greens, and he was like, no, that's because you don't call them collared people.
Yeah.
It
was something like that. The colored greens, and that's a funny
I'm
joke.
with you most of the way, Taylor. I'm not on board with they're trying to control you type thing. I think they're being oversensitive. I think that they think they're doing the good thing and advocating on behalf of Indians when they say don't say redskin. But I don't think it's
some of them do. But you can't paint with a brush that they all are like that. They're not.
Story.
A lot of.
I'll use any brush I want to.
Okay, fair. I don't mean to be removing your lived experience.
You're trying to control my thoughts and speech. I don't know. Just the social justice warriors I run across, I think they're operating from a genuine. If it's not virtue signaling, then they think they're being virtuous. I haven't seen them try to control and beat down, although. You're right. There's probably some aspect. I don't know.
I think I mostly agreed with our guest though, because I was like
Iraqi guest?
Allah Akbar. He was pro Ali Akbar.
I think I'm pro Allah Akbar because I was like, I think it's like all right, every time you watch a World Star Hip Hop video or a YouTube video where some bad shit is going down and there are English people, what do you constantly hear if there's a bunch of people watching a plane crash or cars burn? Oh my God! And I think they're pretty analogous. And I said that on the show, and he agreed. And then I was like, but we don't often go, oh my God, while we saw heads off.
Kyle, if there was, the difference is that if there were Christians out there and before they cut someone's head off on Live Leak, they said, Jesus is great. Jesus is the only way forward. Jesus is all I'm all about. And then you would have to, and then if you ever heard somebody in public going, oh, Jesus, you'd have to be like, oh, fuck. Oh, okay. No, it's one of those peaceful Jesus folks. It's just no, it wouldn't happen like that. It's just silly to, first of all, when you don't speak a language, you only know certain little tidbits of other languages, and so the ones you get hammered with over and over become the most easily to retrieve. So Allah Akbar is one that we all have heard many, many times on the news and YouTube videos or wherever. And so when you hear it, there's already a visceral thing, because the only time you've seen it isn't at all these prayer houses, because we don't live in the Middle East. We just hear it on the fucking news right before shit blows up.
While the rocket-propelled grenade is still in flight. Yes. Allah Akbar is what they're saying. And I believe the language can be subverted. I think if dude suddenly became the way that everyone put down Jewish people, I don't know, I just grab that one. Then I think you should stop saying dude, because now it's become a slur. And Allah Akbar, no, you're not clever by saying it all the time, which is what his claim was.
Did you see Clerks 2? In Clerks 2, they explain to one of the characters, he's completely oblivious that porch monkey is a derogative term for black people. And he's like, no way, my grandma used to use that all the time. She'd see us being lazy or sitting around. She'd stop being a porch monkey. They're like, that is very racist. He's like, come to think of it, she did once call a broken beer bottle a nigger knife. And then he decides that he's going to take it back. So he takes tape and writes on the back of his Burger King uniform. It's not Burger King. Porch monkey for life. And then he's having to defend that to black customers. Wanda Sykes comes in. Yeah, that's good. That's a good movie. I like That's
Clerks. A pretty funny comparison.
Clerks I thought was amazing. Going. Clerks 2, I lost its magic for me.
Of course it did. It was not nearly as good as Clerks 1, although I swear I was 20 years old when it came out. So the whole donkey show had me rolling laughing. And the funniest part of the whole Clerks 2 experience is that that employee at the burger place who's very naive about everything, and he thinks that his girlfriend has a pussy troll living in her pussy named Pillow Pants, and if he sticks his dick in her before they're married, it'll bite his dick off. and he explains this to them super matter-of-factly with the same confidence that like a 14-year-old kid explains sex to a 12-year-old kid, right?
And still incorrectly.
My favorite part of that show was the debate over whether ass to mouth was yucky or not. And in the very end, they concluded that in the right situation, ass to mouth is good. And and I'll give away the end. One of the main characters dates the girl that likes ass to mouth, and I'm like, well, he's gonna, well, good for him, I guess.
We already got the mayonnaise in her vagina. Rosario Dawson is so fucking hot. I really like Rosario Dawson.
What did you say about her vagina? I missed. You already got what?
She got the mayonnaise in her pussy earlier in that movie. She's like, you weren't the one with mayonnaise in your cooch, because they banged on the preparation table.
I forgot about that.
I like those movies.
The things we remember. Well, that's a good note to end on, perhaps.
Of course.
All right. PKN episode.
We apologize to any colored people who listen to the show, all in good fun.
And anyone with post-traumatic stress disorder over mayonnaise cooch.
Any collared people either.